Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
What's up everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Laughing Stock. It's got a nice cold one ready, so we're good to go. Oh. Pretty tasty. It's like a Blue Moon wannabe, but it's pretty good actually. Just looking over the dashboard, pretty green day. See, like marijuana had like a great day, 25%, which that's just like an ETF. But just everything in kind of in general is up. I'm still really only holding the two positions, just ALTO and Maxon. I don't really want to average too much down into Maxon now, just because there's still a chance of reverse split, and who knows where we'll go from there. There is the possibility that some of the funds from the current administration could end up getting to them, and there's been some speculation on X and on Reddit about where that money's going to go and how that's going to benefit Maxon. So possibly that one could still work out. It's still like a long shot. And now that it's down on it, I'm kind of just holding it because I'm like, I don't feel like getting out of it. So I know the day I sell it, that's gonna be the day it like squeezes or something stupid. So I'm just holding it. ALTO had a decent day. Finally, it has been trending at lows, which kind of I'm still surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it would have popped quicker than this, but let's see what we actually. You know, just if you're looking at like, I guess we're right at the moving average, which I guess is bullish if we break through here. But I mean, it has broken through before and not done too much. My stupid call options that I bought from forever ago are probably going to expire worthless because I think they have till the end of the week. I think they expire at the end of the week, so I doubt it'll hit $2. It'll be a miracle if it hits $2 now. But like looking at a longer term chart. Like even here, you know, Bollinger Bands are showing like $1.75 for like high standard deviation. So, I mean, it would be a long shot, but who knows? What's it doing in after hours here? Oh yeah, not much. I do want to give a shout out. I don't know. I know you're not in here yet, Value, but if you do poke your head in here, Value made a video which I don't know if. We can provide the link to it. I can maybe put that in the comments or something. But it's just his quick take on NUTX. And Value's been in and out of here a lot. We appreciate him always coming in and tuning into the stream. Obviously, he has a very similar philosophy to us. And I'll give him credit because I still think NUTX is a hard sell to me. Don't get me wrong. The numbers now make a lot more sense. And I think my big issue was after the reverse splits and seeing the stock price finally come back to somewhat reasonable of an area. It was really just the you were just trusting management. You know, they said that, hey, we're expanding at this rate. These are the numbers, and we expect this going forward. And they did carry through pretty much on that. So NUTX has responded extremely well. I think it's, I don't know where at value got in, but the past week has just been a great week. I mean, it's pretty much a double, and I think in the month, you know, somewhere down here. I'm not even sure where the first time value pointed out to me. It might have been way down here when it was at the pits here. So congrats on that pick, man. Excellent choice. And now obviously now my issue is it's climbed so fast. It's like, I don't want to. I might trade it. I might trade just to take some advantage, because I do think there's still upside here. I got like $15 around. My recent fundamental numbers were around 15. So I still think there's some room to climb here. So that doesn't mean I won't necessarily, you know, kind of take a little bit of a pop and just enjoy it. But yeah, I just wanted to give value props, because I think it was a good call, and I didn't see it myself, but you know, that's why it's good to, you know, it's just good to listen to what other people have to say, and you never know, someone's going to find something that you don't, and whether you agree or not doesn't matter. You know, time will tell, and it was a good pick. So yeah, so just holding ALTO. I traded CLW this week. That dropped a lot more than I thought it was, so I had to take a larger position than I wanted to and kind of just get out right even. So the CLW one didn't necessarily work out. I'm watching it closely because I feel like it's due for a pop here. I mean, this is a stupid drop. How often do you see this much of a drop? And now that today I think it got under 31, which I was watching it down here. And I don't know. I mean, if you look at like a 5-year chart, I mean, the last time it was down this low was in 22. It got down to like 28. So it can fall lower than here. But we'll see. I'm just surprised it hasn't recovered from this drop. I didn't think it would be this severe, which is, you know, I wouldn't even have touched it if I thought it was going to keep dropping this much. But whatever, something to watch. I do think this one, just because it's oversold so much now, could pop back. So I'll definitely keep an eye on this one, because this one would be an easy trade. And talking about trading and whatnot, obviously I'm still going to have some long-term holds. That'll always be the basis of this portfolio. And it will usually be deep value, just kind of long shots that are trading, you know, in the gutter. And those ones are kind of easier holds. But some of these other ones too, just kind of been trading in and out of these things, setting a quick stop loss, and you know, like I said, it's just ways to kind of enhance the return, essentially. So, you know, you take positions in some of these and you just kind of get in and get out, and you know, you can make just a few percent here and there, and that's really all it takes. I'm not recommending anyone do that. It's complicated and you have to pay attention, and there's a lot of moving parts, but I do think going forward, you know, I've seen it. This week so far, I'm only up a little bit. The portfolio for the week's up 2%, so nothing really. I'm waiting. This ALTO, that's what I'm really waiting for, is ALTO to keep coming up, which I got about 17% in now. And you know, my goal is to maybe keep that around 20. I don't know. I might continue to trade it. We'll see. Because like I said, I'm surprised. I thought there'd be a bigger pop. We'll see. If it starts to rocket up, I'll probably hold on. If it seems like it's back and forth a lot, I'll probably try and just keep trading it. For better or for worse. I mean, yeah, I went back. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of backtracking, and you win sometimes either way. Sometimes it was better to just hold the whole time. Other times trading was definitely better. So it's really hard to say, to be honest. So I mean, we'll see. It's like I said, we'll figure out if it doesn't make sense in the long run, then we'll do one or more of the other or whatever, or maybe just know it better based on the instance. As we start to get closer to Q3 though, that's where I feel like ALTO seems like a no-brainer hold, because I think they're finally gonna beat expectations. Well, they did beat expectations, but I think they're gonna have. I mean, they said positive EBITDA, which is still surprising to me that they said positive EBITDA, not positive earnings. So we'll see. We'll see how close that actually is. In terms of daily movers, I think I got this all set up now, so it's not sending me kind of BS companies and stuff without volume or whatever. But you never know. Like I said, there was a lot that was up today. In terms of just straight value, let's see what else. Another thing I'm going to start doing is just because I've paid attention to so much for the reverse splits is just keeping an eye on them. If the stock price gets much below $1, I think I'm going to put a cutoff there. And the reason is not that I don't think it can recover. It's the chance of it, them either diluting there to raise cash or doing some kind of reverse split, which usually the market takes in a negative way. Sometimes it doesn't, but I feel like that's pretty rare, to be honest. Like even for NUTX, like we were just talking about, like they did two reverse splits I saw in the past, and it wasn't until this last earnings report that really it started to really pick up steam, and maybe just before that, you started to watch some volume come into it. But I think by keeping it around the dollar mark, if it drops much below that, it's not so hard to basically kind of hop in and out of these kind of things. But I think I'm just going to kind of screen that way, so I'm not looking at stuff that's so far away that there's such a high risk chance of that. Like this chart here, like it looks good, on the long run, but there is some big swings, and it can take a long time for some of these swings to recover. So it just something to think about. But part of the reason why I'm talking about even trading some of these things is, like I said, if I'm just looking for 1 or 2%. And you're just looking at how much of these are coming up. If you just set some stop losses on some of these days, especially if it looks bullish, like it's going to turn around, there's so many days you could capture 1 or 2%. And if you just put like a trailing stop that you won't get stopped out of real quick, and it allows you to kind of go into a lot of different things. Like this is a good example of it because you can see every day how often this peaks from even the opening price. So even on this day right here where it only goes up 2 cents, and this is a open candle, but like even these red candles here, this would be a day, but this is where you shouldn't be in. It's too early to do this strategy. But on any of these days, and yeah, you're not capturing the whole move, but if you're consistently just getting like 2% and you're protecting your downside, really is what the more important thing is, which should always be the focus, I would find. But little things like that. And who knows? Every once in a while, you might get lucky and capture one of these really volatile days where you can get a huge return, still with your stop loss in, because a lot of these days when it's really going to take off like that, it just keeps climbing. It really rarely pulls back much. And even if it does, and you're watching, you could hopefully kind of keep getting into it. But the goal is to avoid, these huge drop days. And if you can consistently do that, it doesn't take long, and it'll be very profitable. So that's kind of the way I've been playing around with trading some stuff right now. And then in terms of fundamentals, honestly, I still think the one way I see that it makes the most sense to really capture the upside is to stick with the original kind of thesis, where have a bigger trailing stop loss, and you're still finding these deep value stocks that and as it starts to return up to 50% or so, that's when you can start to think about possibly trimming. But it's all going to be based on if I'm seeing other stuff at the time or not. If I'm not seeing other things, and people aren't really throwing ideas at me that seem cheap, then I'll probably just honestly kind of stick away from it. But I will say, once again, just to Value's point, how important it is, and I know I don't do it on the stream much, which is why I wanted to emphasize it, of just going through the transcripts and actually going through the 10K. You can look at these metrics and these numbers all day, but it's really when you look through their last transcript, for instance, for and it's NUTX or whatever the actual company is. That's just the NUTX is the ticker, but they explain how the hospital growth's occurring, and Value, we will definitely put your video, or like I said, we'll tag your video in this just so other people can see it, because you know, I definitely want to give props to you. What was I saying? You know, it's just really important to read that stuff because there's so much detail in there, and it gives you such a better idea, and it allows you to understand where management's more coming from and what their future is and what their growth that they predict is. And if they start to hit any of those numbers, I mean, that's where you really see. I mean, this is why it's performed so well in just a few days, because I'm sure most people weren't taking it necessarily seriously. And now that you see them hit those numbers, and they're talking about, yeah, that we were still going to grow another 4 hospitals. And then they're talking about, and these are like small micro hospital essentially type things, but they have imaging and stuff like that, which makes them like, it's interesting because, so first off, I'm in healthcare and I work in a massive hospital, but in terms of like, you know, people coming to a big hospital, sometimes you don't necessarily need to go to the big hospital. But the annoying thing is if you go to like an emergent care or something that's really small around here, they're basically going to send you to the ER because they don't have imaging that they might need there. And these micro hospitals are kind of a good balance, you know, and especially the fact that they're owned by a conglomerate, so they don't need to be profitable necessarily on their own. Yes, you want each one to be as profitable as possible, but to be honest, kind of that emergency care type work that's not quite full-blown ER status, but it's a decent little hospital that like you can go to and get most things done. Even that, it's much better than an emergent care where they're, you know, basically doing some basic band-aid type stuff, maybe you know, sending you to like your general practitioner, or just minor things. Like these are places that have CTs, MRIs. I'm sure they have maybe like not like a surgical suite, but something smaller along those lines. I don't know if they have like an angio type room where they're doing like vascular interventional procedures, something like that. But those kind of things, if you have those in a small hospital, it can really benefit. And there's so many small towns right now where the problem is you can't have this big hospital, and then if you do need that kind of help, you have to travel such a distance. So I could see in the States the model working. We'll have to see in the long run. I am curious, and I know there's always a lot of pushback. There's a lot of competition in healthcare, which there really shouldn't be necessarily. I mean, it's good and bad. It's kind of a complicated subject, but we'll see. Maybe it will benefit in the long run, and we'll see it become even more popular, which would be, you know, hugely beneficial to NUTX as the model becomes more proven. And their numbers are starting to prove it. That's the other big thing. But enough on that, because yeah, I'll let Value keep putting his videos up. Just scrolling through here. I'm just trying to see if anything's catching my eye that's towards lows. Weight Watchers, which I can't believe this was trading so high not that long ago. I had this in another portfolio, and I think I captured like this whole move almost perfectly in that. It started to pull back somewhere in here, and I got out, I think, somewhere in, maybe on this, or it might have been this bigger drop week is when I decided to actually pull back. But I just one of those things. I think this was because Oprah like all of a sudden backed out of her sponsorship of everything, and that's when all of a sudden kind of the whole thing started to take a real dive. Maybe it was on this pullback here. I don't remember, to be honest. But now it's trading at 86 cents. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of dumbfounded by that. Where else we got here? Like iRobot, that's another one. Wasn't this super cheap not that long ago? Or is this just on the pullbacks? Sorry, this keeps giving me these longer charts. I don't need that long of a chart. Nah, maybe I was looking at when it jumped up to here. So I remember seeing it jump, but I didn't have any conviction in this. Interesting. Sorry, I keep clicking the wrong thing here. going on with TELUS right now? So they missed slightly on their earnings. Did they have an insider buy? Well, after he... I'm going to look at my insiders real quick and see if I see TELUS in here. A lot of the same energy players are still in here. Oh, Weight Watchers had an insider buy, huh? Not a ton, but... Ugh. Sorry, and I am behind on the markets this week. Oh, it's just been a busy week for me, so I'm just trying to keep my head afloat here. I honestly wish I was able to do a little bit more with the other stuff, but it's really tough. Just in these summer weeks, just very busy at work. Figure I might as well start looking through these now, just at the I don't think I ever looked at these guys. Man, Geo's really been climbing, huh? It's been a long time since I was in Geo. Whatever. Let's look at the loses. CFP's in here. VSAT's in here. I'm gonna pull them in. I'm surprised they had 23% drop in a day. Is this earnings? After investors plan big sales. Oh, interesting. while all the other ones are satellite ones were jumping. It beat as revenue beats up 45%. And net loss narrowed. But that's okay. So still not. See, that's the thing. Some of these, it's like bullish news, and then all of a sudden you have something like this come out where it's like, oh, someone's gonna sell, and like the whole thing just like drops 23% a day. And I get it. If you're a long-term holder, it's not a concern. But this is the kind of thing that like you kind of have to watch for. This is why I end up searching through stuff for just by 52-week lows, because honestly, the stuff that's up, like, it's great that it's up, but you're looking for any kind of news that brings it down. Oh my god, this bear instinct's driving me nuts. All right. All right. Well, honestly, I'm not pulling in much here, so I mean, we can go through VSAT and NBC, and it was just VSAT and NBC. But anyways, you know what I wanted to do, I would have done in a minute, is go through 52-week lows. So, and if we just go by chart, we can just go by the charts, and you know, so let's go to the old on deck list, which I like to do the on deck list. Sorry, let me zoom in here a little bit. This filter function is like the best thing that Excel does. I say that and it won't do it. Why won't it do that? All right, well, it took it that time. All right, and then my dashboard. Oops, where's my dashboard? There it is. All right, and then 52-week lows. Sometimes I like to just peek through here, and the last time I did it, and see how things have done. Kind of all over the place. Wow, 50% gain on Ideonomics. What is this one? It's just super cheap. I've seen that name a few times, and I never, and that's probably why I never look at it, because it's a little small for everything. But all right, we'll edit the list, delete these, add symbols. Did I not copy and paste that? So then, yeah, so then what you can do is just copy and paste here. We can just add these charts here. I want to just maybe I'm gonna go by weekly. Yeah, I feel like that's a little better. And then the goal is to find stuff that's looks like it's maybe turning around here. I find that it's at least a good way to screen, you know, regardless of what you think about technicals. If you find something that looks like on all the indicators, it looks like it's starting to turn around. And even these ones that, like, you know, it's bouncing off the lower Bollinger Band. It's probably not a terrible place to take a position. It's not to say it can't crash, because, like, for instance, here on Berry Petroleum here, you know, it does break through it. So it's not, do not invest just to, or trade, I should say, on that. But for instance, you see as MACD starts to turn around here, RSI was almost oversold, and then as that starts to turn around, that's where you can see it bounce back up, and it breaks right through the moving average and almost up to the top Bollinger line. So, you know, we're talking, if this is where it starts to turn in here, and let's say you could get in on this at like 5 something, you know, from here to there, that's like $8. So that's like a 30% gain, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. I mean, you could have got out in this week, so you could have, in a month, you could have got 40%, which is 10% a week. Obviously pretty solid. You know, most people shoot for 10% a year. So, and you can see time after time after time that pattern repeat on a stock like this. So it gives some credence to the cyclicality of it. Now, after a trading period like this, it will break down. So this could flop right through here. You never know. Or it could, you know, on this, you know, back here way in 2021, you know, you could see it broke even higher. I mean, this is when it was trading at, you know, if you got down there at like 350, it's trading at like, you know, back up to like $8. So that's more than a double right there, and that's in a pretty short amount of time. So that's kind of the signals I'm looking for, if that makes sense. And it's tough. It's not like you're going to be able to call it, but the idea is to, you know, find something that looks like it started turning around on it being oversold, turn around on MACD, and especially if it's already at the lower Bollinger line. Those are all, you know, things where you could see it possibly turn around, and you can catch a really lucky entrance right before something takes off. And the crazy thing is the fundamentals will always back it up. I know everyone thinks the technicals and you know, the fundamentals are kind of separate from one another. And if you're looking at the wrong time frames, yes. But when you look at something like this, if I zoom into this part on a chart here, like Cato or whatnot, it might seem like, you know, it has nothing to do with the fundamentals. But when you zoom out just for a second and you look at the weekly, you know, look at here, you can start to see where maybe sentiment had changed here, or there's some kind of information that comes out here to finally stop this downtrend. Because, I mean, you got to think, you know, if someone invested here at 15 bucks, this is an ugly thing to hold for that long. Another reason to also to screen by 52-week lows, because I'm already looking at stuff that's kind of like, you know, it's just been in the gutter for too long. Like Cracker Barrel here, it's oversold. You're gonna watch this Bollinger Band as the candles start to pull away from the Bollinger Band. The lower Bollinger Band, which, just if you guys don't know, it has to do with standard deviation. And the nice thing about doing 2 standard deviations away from your moving average is that includes 96% of the price action. So it gives you a really good idea of where people are buying on the stock. And now, granted, you can see all these pops in between here in the moving average. A lot of that stuff, though, is just traders. And I'm not saying you're going to be able to time this. You know, you could really get screwed on this, which is why I say there's a lot of nuance into it. And playing on these nosedive sections is it's something I've tried to do, and it's very difficult. No matter what, even if you're buying on Bollinger, this is why I said sometimes it's worth getting in and out of something quick, because you maybe can do it that way. But there's a lot of times you'll buy here, and then the next day, you know, if you had bought at the end of the day here or at the start of the day here, yeah, it does climb a little bit, but by the end of the day, it's sold pretty far down. And I'm not really trying to day trade. Maybe if you day trade, you can zoom in on that and take advantage of it. But I'm not sitting here all day staring at my screen like, no, that's not me. I'm not doing that. You know, I'm much more of a, you know, I'll put a buy in the morning and maybe put like a trailing loss or a price point that I'd get out at. Either that, or I'll just buy and I'll just hold it, and you know, I'm already assuming something's going to go up to a specific point, and that way you're not capturing just small gains constantly, because obviously you're always doing everything you can to try and average in higher, not lower. The good thing, though, is if you are doing the stop losses, as long as you're tight with them and you kind of just have to follow the individual companies long enough for the charts to start to make sense. But like I said, you know, zooming back out, you'll see with some of these trends, Like for instance, this is a really tough spot on CLAR Corp right now. If you're trying to hop into this one, super difficult. Now it is oversold, so don't get me wrong. When this one starts to turn around, that's an interesting point for me. But up until that point, very difficult to play this. Now the idea is, you see this, it's trading at 439. Okay, CLAR. Let's look it up. Let's see what's going on with CLAR right now. So 2 days ago, independent director picked up 4.4% more of stock, which means that they think it's trading cheaply. So that's what I'm saying. So like, you never know, because this on the chart there, it looks like shit. But that's kind of perfect, because that's usually when you can catch a break. So then, you know, then that's when I'll go to the fundamentals here and just pull up CLAR Corp. And see here, you can see the insiders in there. And this is why I think it's so beneficial to be focusing on both. I know most people say don't, because it kind of breaks down having multiple strategies, but it's not like I'm trying to use multiple strategies. It's more I'm trying to use it all as in one encompassing strategy. So anyways, they're designed and engaged in developing, manufacturing, distributing outdoor equipment and lifestyle products. They operate in 2 segments, outdoor and adventure. Outdoor has Black Diamond equipment, the Peeps brand. I've covered them before. Also, you know, climbing, mountaineering, trail running, backpacking, skiing. They have some rock climbing footwear, blah, blah, blah. All kinds of outdoor stuff type. Did I not enable this? Oh, hang on. Undo that. Go back to here. Sorry, this is my ad hoc one. If I don't put it, if I type it into another one, it's going to mess it up. But, you know, it just, and just on metrics here too, and that's the other nice thing about screening by this is, you know, earnings, it's positive. All right, so here we get the numbers. They've been diluting shareholders. Revenues are down a little bit. Margins are down. They do have excess cash, which I always like to see. That is huge on the balance sheet for me. You got cash on the balance sheet. 439, tangible book is 457 right now. It's considered safe. See, once again, like this is all of a sudden now this becomes a little more interesting. Now we got to figure out what's wrong with this. Earnings were positive actually in the past trailing 12 months. Cash flow struggled. This is definitely a rough period for cash flow. So it's this dilution here that they've done that actually has allowed them to have positive earnings. So you can't always trust the earnings. Those numbers are easily fudged. You know, like 425 in net free cash flow. Yeah, that's great. The cash flow is flowing in, but why is it flowing in? Well, it's flowing in because and what's their? Oh, they don't have debt. Oh, that's right, because they have extra cash. Okay, so it's not debt. So it's literally just shareholders. Now, the part that sucks is obviously if you've been a shareholder holding this, you know, that sucks because you're getting diluted, and that's why the stock price on the chart has gotten, you know, thrown in the gutter. But at least in terms of where they're standing, got 44 million in cash, total net assets at 369 to zero debt. And they actually had 7 million in earnings, only 4 million in EBITDA, which, you know, historically they've been in, well, they kind of bounced all over. They've even had negative years, so it's not even terrible. The one thing that you know kind of scares me here is this cash flow issue. They've been doing any acquisitions. They had a huge sell, so they sold something for 170 million. All right, so this is actually, and I just want to see, is this all the same insider? Who's now purchased twice, once at 8, now at just shy of 5. This was trading at 28 bucks in 2022. And increased by 4%, $129,000 are spent, and then $200,000. So we're talking almost $500,000 in about a year's time. see if anyone's talking about this. Dan Victor's seeing what I'm saying. He's saying it's a hold June 9th. Which, I mean, it looks ugly just because when he called it, you know, it's dropped quite a bit since then. So, and this is the thing that starts to, you know, we'll pull up this earnings presentation. Let's figure out what's going on here. Progress rationalizing product lines, continued stabilization of North America wholesale channel, adventure objective invest to scale, fourth consecutive quarter of year-over-year revenue growth, further investment to achieve a 3-year strategic plan to scale geographically and expand the DTC channel via NUTX. DTC is obviously just direct to consumer. Strong balance sheet, prudent capital allocation, debt free with $46 million of cash on the balance sheet at 6/30. So you know, those are the kind of things, like, to me, I mean, it's like this is trading at tangible book value with cash. So hey, what's up, man? Value, I don't know if you had, I just saw that you had put that in here. I talked a little bit about NUTX or however you say it earlier, and props to you. It's been a great week for you, man. I was saying earlier how, like, it didn't click for me. I think I was looking a little bit too much at the numbers, and I should have delved more into the transcript. Johnny had pointed out your video, which very well done. And once again, props to you, man. And the market continues to appreciate for it. I was thinking of trading it today. I got a little nervous because I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually trade it or not. But just because for me, I got fair value around like $15, just over 15, I said. So I still think it has room to climb. It's just here I didn't want to hop in now and do the same thing. It's because that happened with me. Remember, you recommended Curie to me, and I was like, you know, I liked Curie, and I just didn't take the nosedive in it. And then, of course, as soon as I did, so I've just been watching it. But yeah, once again, congrats, man. I hope that's a huge position for you. Anyways, where were we? Okay, so revenue's down 3% year to year, but nothing terrible. Adventure revenue's up 14, outdoors minus 10. EUDA was down 300%, but you know, that's not necessarily the end of the world. Invest to scale, strong results in core Australia, New Zealand markets. Speaking of value, there you go, man. Outperformance in wholesale and OEM channels. The U.S. and Row lagged. Made key investments in Q2 to accelerate U.S. and international growth. New leader responsible for managing and growing brands in the U.S. In total, brought on 15 new team members across 3 regions. So just in general, things are challenging. Net sales were down a smidge. Still have a net loss. So this is also why it's trading kind of rough here, because even with like the insider buy, for instance, like things just haven't really worked out. Value saying, I feel like NUTX might hover around where it is until next earnings. I think it'll have another jump on Q3 earnings, being that Q2 was their quiet period. Yeah, but the other thing too is they're starting to prove the success of the model, and the fact that there is some growth now, and I think management, what do you call it, has really kind of backed up what they were saying. I think that's why all of a sudden now the whole market's like really starting to take heed of it. And I think it was in your actual YouTube video that one of the guys was talking about how the reverse split is a no for them. And don't get me wrong, I think that's one of the things that had kind of, you know, pushed me back from it too. But to your credit, really a reverse split just means it's something probably you should look at. Yeah, it might mean that it's you know, it's falling apart and management's really taking advantage of shareholders. But it could mean that they are doing everything they can to stay alive. And I thought you brought up a great point, because I didn't notice it for sure, is that it looked like I think it's the CEO is basically taking all his money and funneling it right back into the business, which is I don't know how. Yeah, I gotcha. The first reverse split in April. Gotcha. Yeah, because I remember I looked on something and I saw the stock price was at like 4 cents, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, how did it go from 4 cents to like $10? So I'm like, man, if you called that, you got your first 100 bagger and on one of your calls. But either way, yeah, and that's the other thing too. I think a company post reverse split becomes more interesting. If a company you're worried about is going to reverse split, it's kind of that should be a warning to you. But if they're after a reverse split, then I think it becomes interesting, because it's okay. Now they went through it. I'm sorry to the shareholders who are already in there, but that's where they got hit. And now that it's post reverse, like now we can start to get some real numbers here and see where things are actually worthwhile. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's definitely caught my attention. I was talking a little bit about what I thought of the model, just because I'm in healthcare earlier. So if you scroll back a little bit in the video, you can see my take. I don't want to, regurgitate everything I've already said. But trust me, I did notice it, because I remember you mentioning it, and I added it to my list of tickers just to kind of keep an eye on. But yeah, that's awesome, though, that it's your biggest position now after the jump. So good job, man. Yeah, it sounds good, man. So anyways, I'm just going through Claris, just because it's kind of trading in the gutter right now, and I was seeing if there's anything that would make it more interesting here. I think the chart's probably the most interesting thing here. I mean, don't get me wrong, the insider buy is definitely decent, but somewhere around here it's gonna find some stable footing. Maybe not. It could keep dropping. So actually, let's just update CLAR on here real quick. We'll take that filter off here. I said 467 was an interesting buy, huh? Yeah, but it has dropped from there, because now I'm getting anywhere from 7 to like 3. So we'll see. It might drop a little bit more. I do love that the balance sheet has no debt, though. That's the one thing I'll give Claris. The one thing, I'll definitely keep an eye on them. I'm going to keep them on deck, because the fact that they have no debt, it just gives them so much room to play with. They're not really burning cash all that much. The only thing that concerns me is the share dilution, which obviously worse post COVID. But ever since then, they've only been diluting so much, and who knows, this number could be rounded up from something close, and it might not have been that big of a change, really. CLW, this is another one obviously I've been looking at. And I got in and got back out real quick on CLW, because it really kept dropping. There was one day it came back a little bit, so I added to the position, and like I said, I got out for kind of break neutral. But I'm looking for this one to find a bottom, because they do interest me. They're getting rid of the tissue division, and I think in general the company's in a good spot. They're also talking about working on getting their debt ratio down to 2.5 times, because it's like around 3 right now, and running the business there. And we'll see as interest rates. I mean, if there really is an interest rate drop, a company like this could really benefit from that, since they are running so levered. But yeah, value. I was talking to him. I've been working on kind of the swing trading strategy of things, and so far from what I've seen and from what I've been using is NUTX would have been a great one to work on to actually get capture some of the move. Now, it wouldn't capture the whole thing, but if it was something I wasn't 100% sure on, but I was interested in it, it's a good strategy in terms of being able to play around in some of those stocks that I'm interested in, but not 100% sure on, and not put too much risk on because of the way you set up your stop loss. But let's see what here. CVV. It's kind of interesting down here. Yeah, not much volume. Man, what goes up must come down. Revenue of $6 million, increase of 25% year over year. Backlog of 24 is a decrease. Declined 25% prior to the year due to a less profitable mix of contracts with an operating loss of $9 million, or $900,000, I should say. Net loss of $800,000 or 11 cents per basic and diluted shares compared to a net loss of $1.1 million. So that's better. Yeah, I'm kind of going through with just the charts today because I didn't find much. Oh, it's CVV. Hold on, stupid thing. Oh my god. Sorry, I got fat fingers today. There we go. All right, so CVD Equipment Corporation designs, develops, and manufactures a broad range of equipment used to develop and manufacture materials and coatings for compound semiconductors, aerospace, battery energy, storage markets, as well as advanced industrial applications. There's a bunch of different processes, basically. It's a mix of products that they're actually then putting out, so it's somewhat complicated in that aspect. Share counts remain pretty steady. Revenue's down quite a bit, which it's pretty all over the place. Another company with excellent cash compared to their fact that they have no debt. But book value has been declining, so that's relatively concerning here. Earnings are ugly this last year. And don't get me wrong, they're a tiny company, but they got $12 million in cash. I don't like that they're burning $6 million somehow on earnings. Let's see if anyone's talking about it here. So that revenue that's bouncing around, that has to do with the way the business is. He's saying that it's lumpy. Obviously, they're going to be cyclical with the semiconductor industry. Company received a 1.8 million repeat order for their powder coat system, but this spilled over into Q2. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too. He's saying that, you know, you might want to check these out because it gives you an idea of what actual systems they're producing. But it's pretty wild stuff. Either way, this is gonna go way over my head real quick. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand a lot of the basics of that stuff, but to look into it's not going to mean anything to me. Management is expecting additional orders for the PVT 150 system for the same customers, and it's also talking about other potential customers. Similar delay in the two areas of growth for battery segment. But they hope to close an order in Q1 that spilled over into Q2. 6.7 million shares out with 900,000 options, 900K in options, but also 252 of these are exercisable. So a fully diluted share count of about 7 million, which is about what I got. It's $7.30 per share. That's a market cap of 51 or an EV of 40, which makes the shares trade at a modest 1.3 EV to sales. Interesting company to follow and one that could establish a first position here. We won't, as we can't buy everything. A lot is going for it. It is serving markets that are benefiting from secular tailwinds. Sorry. It is continuously developing new solutions, delving from the wealth of technical expertise and know-how with the upcoming EPI tool for the SiC market. Saying the time to produce, disappointing quarter, and the company needs to scale up to produce sustainable finances in the world of management. A return to consistent profitability is dependent among other things on the receipt of new equipment orders, our ability to mitigate the impact of supply chain disruptions and inflationary pressures, as well as managing planned capital expenditures and operating expenses. It's a fancy way of saying that it's very complicated in order for us to keep everything happening on time. Man, like this is the kind of crazy level of detail. This guy said, check out the latest post on LinkedIn showing the CEO and two people smiling at this conference. You know, and then he notices who likes it, who is from this company and could be a potential customer. that is pretty impressive. So this is interesting. Backlog will be going up considerably as they recently held a virtual annual meeting and reported their best quarter from a sales perspective in over 6 years, reaching 13 million in second quarter sales. The bulk of these, their preliminary second quarter sales figures were attributable to a novel solution custom designed for an aerospace customer. Their current SiC customer has aggressive growth plans. They're waiting for funding to be approved. Monitoring multiple online sources. I believe I know who these companies are. Each of these companies are likely to need hundreds of PVT machines over the next 5 to 7 years. If they can just hold on to their current customer and can win the business of the other SiC manufacturers, this is moving towards the end of the sales pipeline, which would be richly rewarded. Gumshoe's asking if they're talking about issuance of shares, which it looks like he's saying that Mr. Wyatt is just saying that he didn't hear anything. So what's going on with this right now? Really, it is trading pretty low. What do I get as a fair valuation for this? About 6. So it's like a 33% return. I mean, it's definitely small now. I mean, the market cap's kind of surprising at 24 million. Honestly, I can't believe it's that small right now. That seems crazy to me. Just curious what the owners have involved here. Is he on the board? Yeah, okay. Holding 19% of the shares. And then this Leviticus Partners LP owns another 9.7, so altogether it's about 30% of the shares. Great Neck, New York. Where the hell is that? Never heard of that. Yeah, so obviously if they can get this to turn around and they can actually become profitable, this is definitely interesting to watch. So just another one to keep an eye on. Since I looked at them. I think we said we can probably keep that on the bottom side. Okay, we'll keep that there. Some of the volume on these is a pain. why I said I've been trying to screen for stuff with higher volume than this, just because these ones are such a pain sometimes. And not to say that you can't find great picks on low volume. It's just sometimes it's just you feel like you're gonna just hold on to that thing for forever. I'm already looking at long shots. Like, I don't need to hold long shots for forever with no hope of upside. And dollar she's really pulled back. Still probably got some room to push down. Man, a lot of these stocks have not benefited at all from this, which I get. I'm still looking at 52-week lows, but I'm kind of surprised that some of these haven't benefited at all from the past week. You know, especially it being so bullish. Like, just seems very bearish to me. Some of these names, it's surprising too, like GoPro, how far it's fallen. Wow, that just seems crazy to me. What's going on with GSM? I just want to know what the actual earnings are, not that. Down 1.2, net income though up 10%. It's not that bad. What date were those earnings? 6 days ago. Oh, okay. Still not much of a reaction to it. 1.65 billion in revenues and 82 million in earnings. So it's about on that trailing 12 months means it's a P ratio of 10. I don't know how it's getting 14. A lot of these silicone type. Cash flow looks pretty good. Margins look really good. Revenue is down though quite a bit. No sales of anything. Earnings are there, but they are definitely not. It's not a strong year for them, which is probably why. It's okay, but it's not like anything impressive. Like no one's like, oh yeah, like, you know, me, 63 million sounds good, but then I see it in terms of everything, and it's not necessarily. How did I just click on chart? That's not where the mouse was at all. Doing it again. What? Oh my gosh. Something when I scroll sometimes on here, the mouse isn't like where it says it's going to be. There we go. Let's close out some of these pages. Bouncing off lows, and this was in May. Not the best timing. They haven't started any buybacks yet. They're talking about doing some buybacks, which would probably be pretty bullish for the stock. Just because, like, I feel like it's kind of looking for something, some kind of catalyst. These guys are talking May, June, and nothing. Wasn't their debt higher looking than that? This must be mostly they have, I mean, they've actually really paid the total debt down. Another pretty clean balance sheet, to be honest. Yeah, and he's saying basically just kind of hang on here. Because the stock is definitely pretty cyclical. I mean, this really, I mean, it goes, zoom out here. Maybe that's too zoomed. It's a little harder to see it there. But it's really traded in this range here this whole time. So not much of a compounder though in the long run. This would definitely be something you'd want to probably trade. Which, to be honest, I mean, it doesn't touch on this Bollinger line here very often. And anytime it does, it doesn't take long for it to appreciate back up. So Now, don't get me wrong, you could buy here and have to ride it down for months before it comes back up. So that's the tough part about anything like that. GTN took a nosedive. That must be earnings. There's a lot taking nosedives off earnings. Helen of Troy here has really collapsed. Intel, that is one I cannot believe has plummeted all the way down to the $20 mark. Just trading up towards 50? Seems crazy to me. How is Johnson & Johnson at a 52-week low at $158? Strange. Cosmos is still falling. Coles is falling. I'm not seeing much with like a decent turnaround. That's all I'm looking for is something with a decent turnaround. Lulu has really fallen. I tried to hop in on this, and that was a bad idea. I'm trying to think. I don't think I traded it successfully. I think I trade averaged down a little bit and just got out because I was like, oh, this isn't panning out. Med looks okay here. What the upside is now is really hard to say with Med. These GLP drugs are throwing a real wrench in their game plan. Man, market-wise, down to 75 cents now, huh? OLN looks kind of interesting here just on the chart, just based on how cyclical it is. If I zoom out on this chart, what do we look like here? That's a pretty strong support line there at around 40 bucks. We rarely reach oversold. PBF's down, which is kind of surprising. Dave and Buster's is really dove. Although it kind of looks interesting here as this starts to come around here. I feel like most of the ones I've looked at, it's just nothing looks definitive. Usually you should be able to find one that looks like it's kind of climbing back up, and there's nothing. some of these names. Red Robin's down to 474 now. Sandridge. What's kind of interesting here, but still, once again, nothing like it's catching my eye just yet. Hey, what's up, NASCAR? ELWS turned into the stock of the day. A little weak considering how strong GNLN was yesterday. I'll have to pull them up in just a sec. I was just trying to go through my list of stuff that I have on deck that like is somewhat interesting to me and was at 52-week lows. But when I say it's at 52-week lows, it is at 52-week lows. Some of this stuff is struggling. Tilly's is down. UFI. Saw the uranium stuff's been getting smoked lately. Wolf's down. Xerox is almost dead. Wow. That is a rough list. That's a rough list of stuff. I thought we'd be able to find a few more that were more on an interesting turnaround section and not really a lot. LWS. I gotta zoom in here. Yeah, I mean, this one held up really well. But once it got up here, it just kind of bobbled around. It didn't really do all that much. It was kind of hard to look at anything. To me, I mean, I look at the intraday stuff occasionally just to kind of give me an idea. But like, you know, you can try and find RSI sell-offs and stuff like that, and you know, if you're looking at moving averages, but it's tough. I mean, you can look when it breaks through VWAP, but this broke through, and then from there it just kind of held. There wasn't even, the crazy part is all of this price action occurred before the volume even did. You know, volume didn't even start here till like $2. So, you know, people in the morning were paying around $1. Look at this volume, how small it is. And then all of a sudden, everyone takes notice here and drives the price up to here. But other than that, wasn't much to go on here. Yeah, that's a tough one. 260 for the VWAP. Oh, in here? I see what you're saying. I will say, though, if the VWAP was there, I mean, you could have probably held that until RSI started to pull back. That's one thing I've been watching that works pretty well. You know, as something starts to really pop up here, when you start to watch this really start to collapse there. I mean, granted, this one where it broke through VWAP, this one's tough. This one over here is almost impossible to get in on this without being somewhere in here. But this, on this breakout, you could get in somewhere in here. And then if you followed that up and just held that until RSI really started to break down up here. What is that? That's, say you got in 280 and out at 430. We're talking in how much time is this? This is 1050 to in here it starts to break down. 10 minutes. That's a 10-minute hold. 335 is still pretty good, man. I'd be pretty happy with that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, too, the other thing too is I mean, I don't know if you're scalping, but that would be what I would do if I was going to do something like this. But like I said, I'm not doing the interday trades. And then what was it? GNLN. I mean, it's kind of traded all over just for that, anyways. But let's look at a day chart here. Oh wow, look at that! Wow, what a gap up. From $2.60 to $6? That seems nuts. Yeah, no, that's what I was just saying. I mean, this seems nutty to me. And then today, I mean, even today though, it traded all the way from $1 to like $11.50 or $9. I mean, I still think that's pretty wild. Hang on, YouTube's telling me it's getting some error here. Can you guys still see the stream? Still working here? I don't know what it's doing here. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know. It's just telling me there's an error, but it's not telling me what to do here. Now it says excellent again. Which, whatever. All right. And then what was the press release? Oh, private placement. Yeah, it's amazing how some of these companies, when they're starting to get priced for bankruptcy or something, but then they have a placement or something like that, where all of a sudden they're not dead. It can catch everyone's attention. 18 million shares were traded. That's crazy. All those millions of shares in one day. All right. Well, to be honest, I don't have too much else to go through right now. Like I said, I know I had pulled in VSAT and NBC. Oh, it's a Philippines. Oh, Manila. All right. That makes sense. Companies engaged in the business of radio broadcasting. I'll probably save this one to look at myself via satellite in the country. I was just wondering, I wonder what's the easiest way to do that over in the Philippines. Just because of the islands and stuff like that. I feel like it's decent insider buying though. All right, well, I do apologize, but I'm probably gonna cut the stream here just because try and get some sleep here, just to make sure I stay caught up on things. Johnny should be on Thursday. This week, I think we'll be on Saturday. So yeah, value. Yeah, I saw it was stuttering. Sorry, guys. I'm not even sure what this is saying. Right now, it's showing like a picture of our stream or something, or like our opening on my YouTube thing. So whatever. But either way, like I said, I'm gonna cut it here, guys. But we'll figure out from here. NASCAR says non-binding letter of intent to be exclusive distributor in the U.S. of safety strips, fentanyl, xylazine, and drink spike detection test strips. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that kind of thing will do it. All right. Yeah, like I said, though, Johnny will be on Thursday, and I believe the stream this week will be on Saturday, but it's tough to say. Granted, if I haven't got anything going on, but we'll update you as the week goes on. NASCAR, you got to see what Value's doing. He's over here. He's making big moves on the fundamentals. So don't forget, it can go both ways, man. You don't have to try and capture it in about 10 minutes like you're doing. Which, whatever, if you are, it's good for you, man, too. But all right, everybody, have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry about the lag. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know why sometimes it lags. I don't even have that much stuff open, I feel like. So I don't know why it's saying excellent connection now, but I can't see myself on this video here. I'm hitting play on it. Does that work? I don't know why. It just keeps showing. All right, now I think it's caught up. But either way, yeah. So I'll keep kind of moving in and out of some of these things. Hopefully, Alto has a decent day. I didn't even where do we end up here? Because we're later in the day now. Just see what some of these names did after hours. Alto. Yeah, still at 148. All right, so that's good. What's NUTX doing? Whew, 1357. And then what was it? GNLN. We got anything going on here? Looks like that one's probably gonna pull back to death. And then what was the other one you said? ELWS. Well, 2% in the grand scheme of 175, that doesn't really mean shit, so whatever. Did Max do anything in after hours? It's probably been down. It was up a little bit. It's been bouncing around so much. It's like I said, I don't know. I'm trying to decide how long I hold that for. But I know I sell it and it's gonna skyrocket. All right, we'll close out that. All right, guys. Everyone have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. As always, subscribe to Value's YouTube channel. We'll try and get a link in there, Value, just to help keep the recognition going. And I think that's all I have to say. I'm out of beer. There's nothing left to do here but calling it a night, guys. All right, peace. Have a good one, everybody.